You sound like Theresa May. Keir Starmer ridiculed for Labour's Brexit plan. The shadow Brexit secretary was quizzed over his party's EU exit plans as Andrew Marr turned the tables on Mr. Starmer after he tore into Theresa May for getting the UK into a complete mess. Marr asked, "How do you think the general election result has changed the negotiating position Britain should take for Brexit?" Mr. Starmer replied, "I think the Prime Minister has got us into a complete mess. She's got no mandate here and she's got no authority abroad and the negotiations start tomorrow. Things have to change. Her approach so far has alienated our allies in Europe, it's weakened our position with the EU, and it's actually got us into the worst possible starting position." Pointing out the similarities between the Labour Party and Conservative Party's Brexit plans, Marr said, "What people say to me is actually when you look at it, Labour's position on Brexit is identical to Theresa May's position. So, let me test that if I may with some yes or no questions. First of all, do you accept that we are leaving the EU, come what may?" And as the Labour politician confirmed remaining in the EU and rerunning the Brexit referendum would be out of the question, the BBC host asked about Labour's position regarding the single market. Marr said, "Third question, are there any circumstances in which you think Britain should stay inside the single market?" Sir Keir said, "As far as the single market is concerned, our manifesto is clear. We want to retain the benefits of the single market and the customs union. Full membership is only available to EU member states and that's why all the discussion about what sort of model and cutting Mr. Starmer off," Marr said, "so that sounds to me like no, we cannot stay in the single market." Pushed on the issue of the single market, the shadow Brexit secretary insisted the UK would have to leave, as only EU members have full access to the inner market. However, he urged Mrs May to keep the UK's options open as the government heads into Brexit talks with Brussels on Monday. Mr. Starmer said, "Focus on the outcomes and you can take single market membership and say what needs to change to get us to the position we need to be in, or you can start with a bare agreement and work up. What matters is the outcomes because what we need is a deal that actually works for our country." Asked if Labour was prepared to make compromises on freedom of movement for access to the single market, Mr. Starmer added, "I don't understand this notion of some freedom of movement. In the end immigration comes down to end." Before Mr. Starmer could finish, Marr shot in, "You sound like, in a very gentle way, you're saying exactly what Theresa May would say if she was sitting there."